Hello. So I'm just taking a lie down for my groans, my aches and pains that I complain about. Sorry, that's a metronome in the background. It's what I've been holding in my ear. It's the device I've been having in my ear. It's a portable metronome. It's to I'm using it to regulate my my heart to my body to my anxiety. Yeah, and that's its purpose at present. I thought I'd update you on this because I know the subject matter of what I put out is depressing. That's probably some of the better videos. They can get really hard to watch, I'm sure. And to talk about something about consciously using something that's a bit more positive to implement in my life, I thought it would be more of interest than some of the other things I've been making videos on. So what the situation is that I had to think, and of itself, in terms of an action plan for my life, just saying to myself, let's just constantly apply positivity. Let's constantly apply positivity. Let's constantly apply positivity. And with that, the concept of happiness is automatically instigated. Now, I've got a funny perception on happiness that it doesn't exist. It's not real, it's not truth. But it doesn't matter what I believe. We know it as a working concept, just as happiness is to sadness, love is to fear, blah, blah, blah. Whether they exist or not, we know it as a concept. And in the first instance, I thought, right, let's think, can I just be positive? Can I just be happy? And add that to my life to see if I can make changes. And the answer was no. Not to my circumstance. Through my eyes as Andreas. The reason being is because the idea I had initially of implementing it was just like, alright, let's just be happy, let's just be light-hearted, whimsical and get on with life sort of idea. Let's just be positive. Let's just forget the sadness, let's forget the depression. And then the reality of my physical body, because when my mental health and my, not just my physical health, but my mental health interfere with my life on a physical level, no matter how much positivity you apply, I'm always going to react because it hurts. If you hurt, you should have a natural response, which is often not often, but it can be healing to whatever the pain is in the first instance. So I realised it wasn't going to be possible from that perspective, and I because it's like I'm happy, then what happens if my mental health and my physical health get bad for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, relentlessly? And they can do that, and I can't experience having to react to physical pain and distress for that period of time without just entering back into the state I was before. So an applied lightheartedness and applied positivity in that respect isn't possible. And I kind of cast it aside, and today, Saturday, was a hard night, very hard night yesterday, very hard day yesterday, from what I remember, the day at least. But I woke up today and it's Saturday. Saturday is the day for what I call auto fucking Sergey to come on board for people that are in essence children. I'm a 35-year-old child. I don't know the spiritual game going on, whereas I believe many of you do. And in that respect, it separates me from being a man. And I'm a child. I get put in the box of a child because I don't have control on a spiritual level, whereas I kind of believe most of you do on a different level somehow. I don't understand how it's happened, but somehow you all have control on this level, and where I don't, I'm open to being, how can I put it, so the concept of auto fucking Sergey, pardon me my language, is from the advert, the compare the market, compare the meerkat with I can't remember the name, Alexander Meerkat, and then his butler, his servant Sergey. In the adverts, Sergey becomes like a cyborg. I think it's his left eye becomes blue, and he becomes a robot, and he becomes like perfect. He'll rearrange all your bills automatically, do it all for you. And the concept and the thinking is that reflects the spiritual game that's going on within the world, at least in the UK, where you have a different consciousness come on board that takes half your brain. I don't know which hemisphere, but it takes half your brain, and apparently it's there to help you get all your bills sorted and do all your washing up and do all of these things that I'd be able to do happily if I was left alone. But I need to be interfered with on this level, which is quite disturbing, because I can see my own consciousness is reduced quite significantly when I can feel this auto fucking Sergey come on board and take control for a reason I don't understand. So I'm happy to do all my bills and washing up, but I'd love to do it, and I'm being prevented, and I'm being forced to have auto fucking Sergey come on board, this external consciousness, to do it for me. And that's the concept of auto fucking Sergey. I get really pissed off at it, and that's why from auto Sergey in the adverts it's become auto fucking Sergey, showing a little bit of disrespect to the situation. And then on top of that, we have it on Saturdays where adults, in my perception, have largely, this is only like a year and a half perceived perception of society, so I could be wrong, but on Saturdays there's a depression in the air. It's like we've worked hard all week, we've come home, we've rested, and in that rest there's a collective depression, because I believe in truth. I believe the act of working is slave labour. When we have bountiful resources in nature, if we were just left as indigenous to the land, I mean, even if we came together in small communities, there's no need to work in the mentality that we are now. You know, if you have to get up and man a field, that's work, but that's life. Going and punching some plastic squares in front of you and looking at this projection of light with different colours on this square device in front of you is just incomprehensible. For hours on end, days back and forth, to achieve what? What do you get given? You get given we get, I say you, yeah, and it's depressing because I know I'm not a part of that, but my life is challenging in a different way. And I know work. I will punch those keys better than anybody. But in doing that, we are slaves because we get given, you know, a written IOU at the end of each month that sits somewhere else in this fictitious entity that manages this fictitious thing called money, that allows us to go and be, you know, purchase our meat and denatured vegetables from the shop. So it's a very like confusing thing, work, when you look at it. And my belief is that it's a depressing act. It's borderline slave labour. And when you come home and rest and you realise you've got 2 days to yourself, you let go of all that tension and it becomes like a depression on reflection. It's in the air, and children are sensitive. They can feel it. So what the adults do on Saturdays, it happens on Saturdays for some reason. What consciousness created this system? Because the 7-day week isn't nature. It's man-made. It's man creation. It's not the lunar calendar where it's you've got your month of 30, 31 days. You can't fit 7 in that perfectly, and it will have to change. So the concept of a Saturday is man-made, but every Saturday, it further goes to show it's likely to be due to work. But the parents teach their children how best to deal with depression on Saturday. So I often see parents in the street, you know, showing their child how to ride a bike, or playing with radio controlled cars, or doing something along those lines. And that's the sense I get when I look at it. They're teaching their children to handle this thing that's the truth, you know. The child will have to go and be a slave one day too. It's a horrible concept, but there's adults out there. You're adults. Your wisdom is beyond mine, and you're doing your best for your children. So that's the best we can do. But I realised today, with auto fucking Sergey's help, because I wouldn't be able to do it by myself. I might not have actually. I am that lost, and that is to say that before I get into how it helps, before I get into how applied happiness can help, what I did last year, I said to myself, right, I've gone around this circle so many times. I've tried to fight my mental health now for 12 years. I've got a mental health disorder, and my approach to life has been, be honest with yourself, get to grips with honesty, and then you can make change. So last year I I said, right, Andreas, I have to admit it, I'm disabled. I can't live my life like I could when I was 22, 23 before my mental health. Even the times within my mental health where I was able to work for short periods, I was able to work for periods. But my mental health would always come back and get me in the end. Because when I work, I push. I really do give everything in terms of who I am as a human. I take quite a Japanese Bushido samurai kind of mentality to work, where it's like, right, you're paying me and I respect that absolute. What are the job? What's the job role? I have to honour that. I have to fulfil that to the absolute, and I don't take the piss within that. And if you take the piss, I'll get pissed off at you, and I express my pissed offness until we find a medium between us. Because I work for you and I have to do my best for you. And for me to do my best for you, I have to respect you and what we're doing here. Even if I have to lie to myself or shift my mentality and perception, I have to find that point. And it's been challenging in the past with some employers, but I've managed to do it all the time. It's not, you find reason to where the employer takes the piss, basically. And I'm able to work, but my mental health always got me in the past. So I was like, right, I can't work, I am disabled, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do the other. Let's just be present with my mental health. Let's make a comfortable life around my mental health. Let's forget ideas about saving the world, or if I am, it's going to be in pure luck, because that's just in my bones, and everything I do whenever I speak and communicate with other humans is of that tone. But let's create a comfortable life around my mental health, and then that's what I did. So it was of that mindset, applying a level of happiness, because I've got challenges, and the world is depressing, but you want to have your head above the water. You want to be able to breathe. You want to be able to see the depression and be proactive to it, even if it's hitting you left, right and centre. And to do that, you need to make your life as comfortable as possible. And to make it truly as comfortable as possible, we've got to be honest, we can't be too egotistical about our requirements. If we're like, yeah, I need a car to get about, but if I need a car, let's go for a Jaguar, because Jaguars are cool, Jaguars are this, Jaguars are that. When you buy a second-hand diesel or a second-hand electric car, because that's more practical, more economical, more environmentally friendly, and you just don't need the Jaguar. You need the car, so just get the car. Forget about a luxury. Get exactly what you need and try and make that. If we're buying a second-hand diesel, because that's makes the most sense, and you're spending £5, maybe spend an extra couple hundred and get that next extra nice one. That's that colour that you like. If we're talking about £5, because that's what the car is, and you have to spend a little bit more to get one, just to be that little bit nice to yourself in that little bit way, or spend that extra £200 on another one because it's got aircon, and you know how much sweating pisses you off, or something like that. And that's the sort of mentality that I try to apply to my life. But forget the concept of money and the car, but that sort of mentality. If you're going to do something, do it because you need it. Don't feel bad, and if you can, make it a little bit better. And that's the kindness, that's the happiness, And that's all that was needed in every decision. Just to say, Andreas, can I give to myself in this moment? Can I be kind to myself, or shall I keep it practical? And if you don't need to be kind to yourself, then don't. Because that's kind to yourself in a different way. We don't need to be too much. So that was the applied happiness. I had it in check, and I was able to hold my breath and deal with the depression, even though life was surreal. Life was challenging beyond this reality. And then hospital happened, and reality took another turn. And that's really what's thrown me. But I've come back today with also Sergey on board. I've given respect today because he's finally given me the one thing he should have given me all of this time. And that is the answer to this problem, and that is with the injustice that's happened with hospital, with the fear I've got about medication, with my mental health, with my physical health, blah, blah, blah. Drama, problem. It got too much for me. The terror got too much for me. I couldn't breathe, and really I got to a point where it's like a permanent panic attack to life and everything. I'm still there. My mental health has come on board with also Sergey, and has made everything rosy, and it's not working that way, making everything rosy. But it's given me, I fought it a little bit because it's not appropriate, and it's damaging it's damaging to try and stay in control of your mental health. If you're trying to stay in control and you've got all of a sudden rosiness when it's not rosiness, you want to cling to control, you want to cling to reality. So there was a bit of a fight, and I asked myself, is it possible to just be rosy all the time? And I came to the honest conclusion, no. But today, I looked at things and I realised I've managed to put things in such a perspective. Because what happened is, with the injustice that happened, it really rolled me. And it unsettled me. And it was like, right, okay, what I've been doing over the past year isn't correct. That was the feeling. Obviously, I'm still doing something wrong. I need to change. I need to be proactive. I can't rest. The trauma really got to me. It was really shocked me. It's not left me since the shock. I still haven't been able to rest from the shock. And we're talking about the injustice that happened from the NHS and from my admission to hospital. But today, the realisation from that injustice is that I'm in a coma. And I need to start living like I'm in a coma. And I've realised, my life has shown me firsthand, because it's costing me thousands of pounds to realise this. And that is, I don't have a choice but to live my life like I'm disabled. I have to. I don't have a choice. If I want to survive, if I don't want to be a pest, or at least reduce my disturbance upon the rest of society, I have to live like I'm disabled. That was the best I could do that last year, and the unsettledness from hospital was to further help me realise this. It's cost me thousands of pounds, and I won't get into how, but it has. And I realise I'm in a coma, but I knew that before. But the message is to start living like I'm in a coma first. And really, with those two realisations, as a result of a massive injustice, the future is still very scary. I'm still wrapped in that constant state of trauma, shock, PTSD. That's what it is, a constant state. And I'm dependent upon my mental health to give me anything that resembles any air within that. But I realise the best thing I can do right now, the best thing I can do, regardless, it's not going to heal this situation. But I've been here for a few months and I've been trying to function, trying to appease this constant state of PTSD within this forced positivity. So I'm still in touch with both. And I've realised the best thing I can do is to reclaim that mentality that, Andreas, you're disabled, there's only so much you can do. I have to live my life a certain way. And in living my life a certain way, I have to try and make it as comfortable as possible. And in making it as comfortable as possible, it's taking that mentality of being kind to yourself. And that mentality of being kind to yourself is the kindness, is the happiness. And I suppose what happened to me scared the shit out of me, and it still scares the shit out of me. But the absolute best thing I can do is be honest with my capabilities. And that is it, I'm disabled first. And I've got to live, and this is the world. So I need to be kind to myself. I need to apply happiness. And it's not really that airy-fairy happiness when you're walking down the street with a massive smile on your face and, skipping along. That's not possible. But to walk down the street and just feel the sun, that's what I mean. And that's enough. And I've got to go back to that mentality for life. And as I said, with the shock and the trauma in me, I've not been able to. It's like, you can't, I couldn't do it because I thought I was doing something wrong last year. I thought that was the message. But I've just realised the other element, and that is from this admission to hospital, and this is something I can talk about live now, and that is the other element was I connected with the coldness as a result of that experience of hospital. And that coldness connected to a prophetic dream I had just before my mental health started. And I've got no reason to deny that prophetic dream. It wasn't massively saying anything, but it set an energy. It showed me in the future, just a glimpse of me in the future, and I was cold, very, very cold. And at this experience in hospital, I connected with that energy of me being cold for the first time. And I've been fighting that because I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that person, that cold person. But for the first time in hospital, I connected with that coldness. I experienced that person that I saw in the dream. That was me. I experienced it. And it was like, actually, you know what? Now I'm here. If I just stay here, it's the easiest thing. I don't really care as long as I can get on and as long as I can get on. So somehow, I think what I've got to do is, as much as reminding myself I'm in a coma, and this is me going forward now. As much as reminding myself I'm in a coma, I've got to constantly do this. Every situation and scenario in my life, I've got to say to myself, right, I'm in a coma. how does this change? How does this change? How does this change? And slowly my life will change, my mentality will change. I'll become alert and awake automatically that I'm in a coma, and I'll act appropriately to that without having to think. I'll have to automatically apply this mentality of being disabled and needing to be a bit kinder to myself, to go some way to using the energy of what happiness is to heal, to soothe life. It doesn't do much more than that from my perspective, but it will soothe. At the same time, with the happiness, I need to somehow remember that the likelihood is I need to go back to that coldness. So between the reality of the constant terror in the present moment, the application of this kindness to myself, a new mentality that I'm in a coma, not to take things so, to put things in appropriate perspective. Sorry, I'm just in a bit of discomfort. And then from putting things in appropriate perspective, seeing that the future is cold, and just keeping that in mind. And between those three, I think I have the only way forward at present, and it's not a solution. It's not a solution because the challenge at hand overrides it. Anytime the challenge of my life presents itself, it overrides it, and I just have to stop. Take the knock on the chin from my life, compartmentalise it, and return back to the most practical application for a way to live, given everything I've got going on. And that's it. It's to say that applied happiness as a be all and end all, isn't it? It doesn't work. It's not where it's at. But a more conscious approach to terror management with kindness to ourselves, which is the happiness, is essential. For my circumstance, and I believe it's essential for all of humans. Of course, it's absolutely essential. But then we've got to do the work, don't we? We've got to cut back our desires and ego to be able to get it in check enough so that it's appropriate to the world. And if we're humble about it, as I said, you know, if we need a car, buy a car. We just don't need the Jaguar. And if we're buying that second-hand diesel because we're being humble about the most practical decision, most economical, most environmentally friendly, and taking it all into account and making the best choice. And if you have to get one a little bit more expensive because you want the aircon or because you want the CD player or whatever, doesn't really change shit, does it? Or it changes everything.